Hi viewers, welcome to See the Stories, the signature segment of the 3-hour news show. Now before we proceed with our guest interview today, I'm going to ask Kai. I want to know, Kai, if you enjoyed studying history in school.
Guilty here in Indonesia? No. But I love world history.
Okay, all right. Well, if you love learning about history or want to learn more but find it boring or hard, then you can join a community called Neo Historia. Let's take a closer look at what the community has to offer.
Neo Historia is a community that caters to people with an interest and passion for history. This community serves as a platform where history enthusiasts can come together to share their knowledge and experiences. Members can engage in discussions with each other to explore local and foreign history. Neo Historia also regularly organizes various activities to keep the community members engaged and entertained. Now, there are lots of facets of Indonesian history, as you know, and we want to know more, of course. We have the founder and CEO of Neo Historia in our studio today. Good afternoon, Daniel. How are you?
Yes, I'm very fine. Thank you for having me today.
Well, this is certainly
interesting.
So we know that Hans Lang was a big fan of Neo Historia.
Yeah.
And could you please tell us about Neo Historia and how it came to be? Because I heard you're actually a management major.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's a kind of very not connected, right, between management and history. How come a management student can create a historical media that's kind of far away from, from academic background like that? But the first idea that I developed during my college year is I love history so much, and I want to share history with all of my friends. So, and that there was an idea that how about I create something that can actually telling people about history in more engaging way, in more interesting way like that. As you know that some people say that history is boring, right? Like you say that history is not your forte during the school.
Not, in school here, it's because the way it's taught.
Yeah.
And I went, mind you, I went through a curriculum change with so many curriculum changes where sometimes there was history, sometimes there was not. So it was kind of weird in that year. But yeah.
Yeah. And
not that I don't like history.
And that is what my friend told me, why you love history. History is boring. You just memorize the dates. You just memorize the name of the people that I don't even know who's that, right? And then there was an idea. Then I, with my friend, I created Neo Historia. Actually, it's kind of like a community first, just for history nerd, and actually not kind of like a big media as is now today. But thanks God. And it become so many people follow our social media account, and today is so many followers right now. So it's actually just like a history community with my fellow friends, but it's developed into media because so many people follow us. And then there's time I developed our vision. So our vision is history is very interesting topics that we can share with each other. Just like when we watch anime or watching a TV series, it's so engaging, right? Like it's not happened in the real world, but you still watch it. How about history? You see, like
real happenings in the world.
It's happening, and it's affect all of us, right? It's influence of us. The reason why we're here, the reason this Indonesia as it is now today, is because of consequences of history.
That's right.
And from history, we can learn from it to create a better future.
I like that vision.
So it's not like my friend said before, it's just a memorize place and dates and memorize the name of the people that we don't know. It's actually learning from the past experience to prepare a better future.
Like that.
That's what we strive for.
And I like how he says in the beginning, the community is for history nerds. But it has evolved, of course. So, how do you ensure that the accuracy and reliability of historical information before sharing it on social media, because this is pretty tricky too. You have
and what kind of history do you cover in your social media? Is it just Indonesian history or world history?
So how we manage the credibility of our information, because history is a very subjective topic, if we could say about it, because there's a plenty of perspective that we could explore, right? So how we ensure the credibility is we're trying to read as much as possible from every perspective, from every book that we can carry on, and then from that perspective, we're trying to convey it into one information that somehow we give a new insight for our readers. For example, like the history of PRRI rebellion, pemberontakan PRRI in West Sumatra. In history books, we learn that that's a rebellion. But if we read it from the perspective of from the local people in West Sumatra, they would say it's not a rebellion because we don't want to rebel. We don't want to separate with Republic of Indonesia. We just want to protest because the decentralization is very bad at the time, and we want to protest. But the central government consider us as a threat, as a rebel. And from their perspective, we collect it and we create a content that cover both sides. And then to ensure more credibility, we always heard the criticism from our followers, because not everyone is actually agree with us for some topics, but we always heard them. Even sometimes their opinion is kind of very weird. It's so full of conspiracy, but we always listening to them, and from that we can actually get new information from them.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So actually we cover history of Indonesia and history, world history also. So as long as in the past, we cover it. Even
as long as it's in the past, we cover it.
Even the yesterday news, we can cover it.
Okay.
As long as we can find the credible source, and we can find the reference that can support our content.
So what happened 2 minutes ago? No, we're just kidding. But apart from discussing history, right? What other activities do you do in your Historia? Because I've seen that you guys have activities, you guys have outings, and how do you engage with your community?
So we are actually making an event. So we are going to museum, and then we are going to walking tour. To walk around Jakarta, or sometimes we are doing a seminar. We are doing a discussion also, like discussion history. But we want to tell our followers that history is actually around us. It's not just like a word or text in the textbook.
Yeah.
It's actually happened around us. What happens today will be history in the future. What we are doing today, someday will be history in the future. So we engage it with our environment. So we creating even like, in the next day we will make we will go to the movie theater and watch the movie together, or watch history movie together, and then after that we discussing that movie. So it's more engaging in a way.
So these activities are open for public, or do you have to be a member of Neo History?
Yeah, it's open for public. We also have a membership, but that membership only apply to those who already accept to our requirement to pay a monthly fee. We pay a monthly fee, so the benefit is from that monthly fee we collect it together, and we can subsidize it with our maybe a ticket price and all of that, but it is open for public, so everyone can join with our event. We will tell it on our social media.
Oh, very fun. So, because we're talking about history here, right? You mentioned before it's very subjective, and there are a lot of experts who have a lot of different opinions, right?
Yeah.
So, do you collaborate with academic institutions or other historians to improve the quality of the contents that you share with your community?
Of course, because we believe that there is a saying that very popular this day that they say the death of expertise. People tend to listening to people that have no academic background, maybe in social media, and it's actually very debatable. But we believe that academic institution, teacher, lecturer is very important in our journey to deliver a fun history. Even one of my partner, his name is Hanafi Wibowo. He is a graduate from Madinah University and Universitas Islam Syarif Hidayatullah. He is basically historian. So he is my academic partner. So because he has the academic background, so we need to consult with him first when we delivering a content, and we will make a content basically based on academic process like that. So my job is trying to make it interesting as possible. So like cooking. So he cook the recipe, he cook the ingredients, and I add the seasonings, just like that. So yeah, in the future we will collaborate more with campuses, with school, with academic institution, because we believe basically news story is just a gateway to history learning. In the end, the one who will carry on the expertise of history is actually the lecturer, the teacher. We are just the gateway to make people that in the first place don't like history, they become interested in history, and then we invite them to learn more deeply. You can ask that lecturer, you can ask that academia, like that.
So it's like an introduction.
Yeah, we just like an introduction.
So through Neo Historia, you aim to general interest in history. So speaking of contents, what strategies do you use to make historical contents accessible and engaging for people of all ages and backgrounds?
Okay, so we are trying to follow the social media trend, because nowadays, according to the data, most of the youngster, most of the youth has a social media account. They are spreading everywhere in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Every social media has its own advantage and disadvantage. We're trying to learn its advantage and disadvantage. Like in TikTok, we're trying to make a short video in more engaging way, because people tell me they're kinda not interesting with video with more than 1 minute. So we're trying to adapt with every social media. In Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, we're trying to create memes, because nowadays internet memes is very engaging with youngster. Like the memes in internet, we're trying to adapt with. We're trying to tell history with memes, and then maybe we creating a comedy video, so it's more engaging in the way. Because I look at the youngster, they tend to joking around. So why not we trying to make a history more relaxing with that way?
Because usually history is a very tough subject, right?
Yeah.
But you've already adapted so much to appeal to the younger generations. Is it working? Do you feel like the Generation Z is developing an interest in history? Because there's been a lot of talk that Generation Z is a generation without roots. Do they feel like they're looking out for the information?
I think that sometimes people find history is not too relevant with their life. Like my friend said before, history is just memorize the name and place and the people we don't know, and they kind of feel it irrelevant with their lives. So what we are trying to say is just try to look history as an entertainment. That's the first reason to like history. You can see history as an entertainment first. Like you watch a movie, like you watch TV series. Why you watch that? It's not even happen in the real life, but you watch them because it's interesting. It activates your imagination. It activates your own. You like it so much because it connecting with your imagination. And that history, we're trying to tell people that history also can be fun. And it can also activate your imagination. Because let us ask some history that happened in the past. What if Indonesia not gain her independence in 1945? What if Indonesia independence in 1950? That's a very interesting subject, right? And what changed today if that history changed that way? So we're trying to make it to activate their imagination. So we're trying to make them realize that history is actually very relevant with their life. What's happened past affecting us today.
True. Lessons learned in the past for the future.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so how do you manage misinformation or myths about history that may arise in your community?
AKA conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So it's actually like a staple food for us. It's like a breakfast in the morning. So yeah, there's plenty of misinformation out there. There's plenty of conspiracy theory out there.
Yeah.
And like I said before about the saying that the death of expertise, people tend to listen to someone that has no academic background that support their evidence. So there's plenty of misinformation out there. So how we fight it? We fight it in more engaging way, like with memes, with sarcasm or satire. We're trying to tell people that let's trust your logic. We as humans, we have logic. We can actually differentiate between what's wrong and what's right.
Yeah.
And how can we differentiate what's wrong and what's right? In our insight, right? We trying to read more books, watch more documentary, and we're trying to absorb insight from everywhere. We're trying to just read more books. If you read more books, then you will find the conspiracy theory and misinformation on the internet seems very weird like that. To be honest, I want to make a confession. When I was a high schooler, I can't read into conspiracy theory, and during that time, it's so believable. It's so believable, like a crop circle, like an alien invaded USA and take over the USA government. And about the conspiracy theory, they say so many like that conspiracy theory. But after I read more books, I watch more documentary, and I absorb many insight from many places, and I find it very weird and very not logical. Not logical. So how we fight misinformation and conspiracy theory? We are trying to deliver a way to. We're trying to invite our followers to not trusting anyone, even us. Not trusting everyone, even us. We always tell that you need to be skeptical with our posts. You need to search it more in a different place. Like when we create one content, remember to check our reference. Remember to check our reference, and please check it well, and you can search it in another place. You cannot consider us as a source of truth. You need to skeptical with us. So if we're trying to say that to our followers to skeptical with us, you can be skeptical everywhere. So the first step is to skeptical and not trusting anyone, even us, even news story. I don't trust it too much. You can search it everywhere. Our content, you can compare it with other references like that.
Critical thinking, very important.
Yeah,
Very
critical
important
thinking.
indeed. Well, Daniel will still be with us, and see the stories will continue after the break, so don't go anywhere.